Hey everyone, I know I said on Friday that I was gonna post the next day regular, but I got really super busy because I had to go to a 1-year-old's uh, birthday party. So here I am posting now. This one is called Scammed. Woman knocked on my door at 1 a.m. claiming to be locked out and needed 15 pounds to go to a friend's house where she left her keys. Gave me an iPad as collateral. Hi everyone, post on behalf of my brother. On Sunday night at 1 a.m., a woman in her 50s was going down my street shining a torch onto people's houses and ringing doorbells while quietly shouting, "Hello!" My cousin, who lives a few doors down, captured it on his Ring doorbell. I was in the kitchen meal prepping for the week ahead when I looked to the right and she was staring at me on my driveway looking through the window. It freaked me out, but she seemed distressed, so I decided to answer the door. There was certainly something a bit off about her, but I put it down to being distressed as she explained how she'd been at a friend's house, got a taxi back, claimed she lived down the road. Her cat was locked in the house and she had to make a hospital appointment in the morning. The 50 pounds would get her a taxi back so she could get her keys and her friend would then give her the money for a taxi again. I offered to drive her, but she declined as she didn't want to put me out of my way. She then said she'd give me her iPad collateral and pick it up tomorrow with my returned cash. My BS alarm had been going off until this point, but I thought, why would you scam someone for 15 pounds and lose an iPad? I took the iPad and gave her the 15 pounds. In hindsight, it looks even stranger. She has a phone to call a taxi, but couldn't call her friend to collect her, refusing a lift from me, which would have solved her problem. Also, a double whammy sob story. My cousin then sent me a message saying he'd overheard the conversation, but when he went to check to see where she'd gone, she had completely vanished. Really creepy. The strangest part? The iPad is completely factory reset. The iPad would have had very little value to me if she had left me with a locked one, but when I on the screen, it was on the language selection screen as if brand new. I did call 101 and alerted them of the situation. She did not come back the next day, and now I have this iPad. What do you all make of this? Update 1. Update. 1 a.m. iPad lady came back. Yesterday, as I was getting ready for the gym and to also drop the iPad off, I had a knock at the door and it was a woman from the other night. She apologized for not coming the day before as she had a late hospital appointment. She used a walking stick, which explains her limp that many refer to as a crackhead walk. I gave her back the iPad and she gave me the money back, a card to say thank you, and a cake. Really glad this happened. It definitely restored some of my faith in strangers. I do admit though it's highly unlikely answering your door at 1 a.m. or doing anything good. You just have to make that judgment call at the time. Wow. So at least this was a happy outcome, I guess. Weird, but but good, I guess. This one's called Coworker. 50s gave us 20 somethings tickets to a performance his wife said, but now we owe them $360. Obviously, we're in shock. A senior coworker, let's call him Scott, came up to a coworker of ours, Rebecca, with tickets to a performance his wife set up. He gave her 6 tickets to the performance and told her that his wife was looking for singers in future performances and they wanted her to check it out. At no time did he mention price or buying the tickets. He literally just gave her the tickets and invited her to go. He didn't even really tell her what the event was. He didn't mention there'd be food or anything. She invited 5 of us to go with her to check it out. We all believed it was free because usually when you get tickets, they're already been paid for. Plus, he hadn't said anything about paying for them. On the tickets were 3 prices: $25, $50, and $60. We all ate before we got there because we weren't aware there was a dinner with it. We showed up 5 minutes late with the tickets and Scott was at the table taking tickets. He told us to take a seat and he'd get tickets later. We didn't think anything of it and grabbed a seat. They ended up bringing a plate of appetizers around and then the performance started. The performance was interesting. Belly dancers and some circus type stuff and lasted about 20 minutes max. After it ended, we munched on some appetizers and chatted for a bit. They started bringing food around, but we'd already eaten dinner, so we got up to leave. As we were leaving, Scott's wife stopped us and said there was a misunderstanding we had to pay. We asked how much, and she told us $60 each ticket. She told us we should just stay and eat the dinner they were serving because we were going to pay for it anyways. She also looked incredibly pissed off and angry at us. She told Rebecca to bring the money to work on Monday to give to Scott. We left without touching the dinner and with a bad taste in our mouth. She didn't even give us the option of paying $25 just for the performance. Here's the thing. We can't afford it. None of us would have gone if we had known it would be $60. In fact, we went mostly as a favor to our co-worker's wife and we're super excited about it. They had told us at the door it was $60. If they had told us at the door it was $60, we would have gone home. That was awkward because we don't know how to approach it with Scott. He has a higher position than us in the company and we don't want to step on his toes or insult his wife. But on the other hand, we feel that we were scammed and we can't afford this. How do we go about dealing with this issue? Should we refuse to pay them back even if it creates an awkward workplace? Should we just consider it a lost cause and pay up? Did we fuck up because we expected them to be free? Reddit, what do you think? What should we do? Update 1. Whoa, this blew up! Thanks to all of you for your comments and helpful advice. I obviously can't get back to all of you, but I have read all your comments. I have sent this page to my coworkers so they could read through as well. We've decided to talk to Scott tomorrow and see what he says. We are hoping he apologizes for the miscommunication with his wife and eats the cost. If he demands the money, we decided the most we are willing to pay is 50% of the tickets, $30 each. More than anything than that is just to keep the peace at work because he's our superior. Still BS, but it is what it is. There are further issues to bring it to our company's attention. Obviously, we will never deal with this man outside of a professional work environment ever again. I'll update tomorrow with what he says and how the conversation works out. Thanks again, you wonderful Redditors. Update 2 days later. So a few days ago, I posted here asking advice about a situation involving a superior of ours, his wife, and 5 co-workers of mine. My superior gave us tickets to his wife's show. He never mentioned we had to pay, and his wife asked us to pony up $60 a ticket as we were leaving. Well, today we went to work and confronted him about the ticket. For those of you who thought he was embarrassed about the situation, you were absolutely correct. He apologized, saying he also didn't know we had to pay for them, and he would talk to his wife about it. He also asked if we thought any differently of him, and if this was going to cause any issues at work. Clearly, he was aware of how shady this whole thing came across and was worried it would wreck his work relationships. He made it clear that he doesn't expect us to pay for our tickets, and I'm assuming from this point forward, the issue is between him and his wife. So if you say he'd be mortified and it was a miscommunication between him and his wife, you were right. Thanks again, Reddit, for all your advice. It really gave us something to think about and helped us come up with a game plan. Keep it cool. Yay! So, I'm gonna follow OP here so that I can see if there are any more updates to this about that situation. Because who knows? There could be an update, there could not be an update. Follow me if you want to get an update on that story. This one's called My Daughter Keeps Going Out and I Don't Know What to Do About It. Hello, I'm new to Reddit, so I'm sorry if I come off weirdly. I'm a 49-year-old mother with an 18-year-old daughter in community college. I'm also very introverted and a little anxious. I understand my daughter needs a social life, but I just don't feel right about it. This year she started going out more with friends. She was sad that she wasted her teen years in her room, but she was safe that way. She downloaded Life 360 for me and she bought pepper spray and her phone is always on. She's usually at the mall or downtown exploring with friends. I just don't like that I don't know what she's doing or who she's with. I believe it's much better to stay at home so there's no risk of anything bad happening to anyone. Yeah, that sounds like me. I mean, like, that sounds like how I could raise my daughter. I'm always going to be a worrywart and like worry that my daughter's gonna get hit or something. Yeah, I should stop watching air disasters, and once I have a kid, I'm gonna stop watching true crime, air disasters, medical shows, things like that. Just so that I don't have to worry about my effing daughter or son. Well, my effing, yeah, worry about my effing daughter or my effing son. That's what I'm gonna do. It sounds like this woman watched a lot of true crime, a lot of air disasters, things like that. And now she's got to stop watching it, or else she's gonna go nuts. Sometimes she's annoyed about it. And now back to the story. Sometimes she's annoyed about it. She has a 10 p.m. curfew. Midnight is much too late. She says she feels stifled and sheltered, but I am just trying to keep her safe. She gives me weird looks when I tell her that going out a lot isn't a good thing. Am I being irrational? Day one. How do you handle your kids not like you when it's your fault? My heart broke today, but it's much deserved. My 18-year-old daughter has slowly stopped sharing things with me. She's scared to talk to me. I'm short temper and I often lecture her out of love, but she once said half of our conversations me just talking at her. She acts a bit like a know-it-all sometimes. She wants I tell her she's too naive. Yeah, I give her a 10 p.m. curfew. I get pissy when she hangs out with friends and then let her walk outside her neighborhood until she was 16. I'm just trying to keep her safe. One thing I do understand is that I made her incapable of handling confrontation. She was sassy as a kid, but as she grew older, I wondered why she couldn't stand up for herself. Then I remember how much I blew up at her, was sarcastic with her without allowing her to get angry at me back. She had OCD. We both recognized the situation. She begged for therapy, but I let my denial get the best of me until junior year of high school. I apologize for it this year, but I'm not sure if she truly forgives me. Today she told me she wants to go to uni down in Georgia when she's done with community college. I have a sinking feeling it's to do with me. I'm offended. I do a lot for her. But I understand. Moms, how do you deal with this if it's your fault your kid doesn't like you? And they too. Why are my daughters so different, yet they were raised the same way? I have two daughters, one 18, one 20. They both were goody two shoes as kids and both were raised by me. Both live at home and both grew up religious. Both were also major people pleasers and aren't mentally ill as far as I know. Yet the younger doesn't really talk to me. She's a bit more wild. She goes out with friends, often wore a fake nose piercing a bit, and isn't Christian anymore. She gets more and more assertive and confident the older she gets. The older texts and calls me all the time. She still asks me for permission for things. If she's not working, she has a career. She usually stays around lying down. She's introverted and complacent. Why is this? And the adult one says this. Having read your many posts, were you were even you admit how awful you were to her? I can't be surprised in the slightest. You clearly resent her being different than you. Whereas your older seems more like you, or you've browbeaten her enough to be complacent. But wow! Shocking. Two humans are too different than each other. Also, wild for wanting to have friends and not staying home, being yelled at and lectured by your mom for wanting to not be sheltered and starved for the world. I'm beginning to think you're either trolling or really, really obtuse. I truly feel so sorry for both of your children. And this is what OP said. I don't resent her. I'm just kind of laughing about how they were both so similar in the youth, but are now two different people. And yes, I need to work on the damage I caused her. My oldest daughter even agrees that the youngest is trying too hard to be like her peers by going out and such. She's not in danger, but part of me wishes she was still the quiet kid she was pre-COVID. At least she's learning to speak up for herself. And Throw the Door One says this about that. You're not laughing, you're actively still trying to make her this complacent, scared of the world, stay at home person. You very clearly express how much you resent her and actively try to keep her home. Because God forbid she makes friends. And yes, it's clear you wish she was still the person she was before she finally pushed back. Also, actively denying her help for her OCD is a monster move. To then also say no to mental illness, but not surprising because of the way you treated it. I truly hope she does escape for college and learn that this is so far from normal. Your parents should love you and support you and want you to be an adult with friends and a life of your own. A parent shouldn't browbeat you into complacency and make you fear leaving the house. Another resident said, simple, your older daughter has had 10 extra years of your emotional abuse and it's just that more ground down, while your younger has seen what happened to her sister and has probably internalized the lesson that she's not going to tolerate that crap. And this is what OP said about that. That's fair. I made a lot of mistakes in my parenting. My youngest daughter thinks her older sister is petrified and codependent. Something her community college counselor told her. I looked at turns, and I can't help but agree. She hasn't moved out of guilt, and she feels responsible for it. I've created a monster. As for youngest, I and my older daughter are scared she's gonna act wild for the sake of fitting in and get in trouble. Wow. So she basically created a monster that she's basically okay with. Well, I'm done for now. Bye. See you on Thursday or something. Comment, rate, and subscribe down below. And don't forget to ring that bell notification so that you can get updates from when I post. Okay, bye.